Wherever I've been in the world, same people, same cross, same devil, same flesh, same Jesus, same answer for everybody. Rich or poor, any nationality, no difference. We are just people. It was a ghastly mess. There must have been scars over the boy. It just compounds the problem to the father because he saw him every day. Every day he looked at him. Every day. Can't get away from him. He's there. He helps him, gets him up off the floor in that rigid state, tries to pull him out from the fire or the water or something, just looks after his boy as best he can. There he is. I'm sure that he and his wife wept often. And I'm sure they wept until there were almost no more outward tears. But their heart was still crying. Have you ever been like that? I have. Have you ever hurt so bad that you thought to yourself, I wish to God I could die? Bess told such an amazing testimony this morning. We honor you, Bess. And I've been there too in my own particular journey, and some of you have been there too. Some of you have hurt, in an Australian phrase that's not particularly churchified, but you've hurt like hell. Like the hell had got into your heart somehow. You've just been in pain. When things aren't going right and you can't see a way out. The father was like that. It looked like it was impossible. No hope. Can't do anything. Nobody can help. I seem to be locked up in this world of mine. If you're like that tonight, I hope you listen to me. I hope you take the advice I give or the Bible gives, because you'll start your journey out of that hole to freedom. I'm not saying it's a magic wand. There are very few magic wands. Sometimes there's a total miracle and it goes from night to day. But most of us walk a journey with Jesus Christ and his power and his strength helping us to walk that journey. Yours, it could be sickness that you can't beat. And whatever you do, and every prayer that you've prayed, it just seems to get worse instead of better. And it's very hard to get it off your mind. Very difficult. I know I've been there too. I just had 1 year from a heart transplant, and they do all tests known to man alive. You go through everything. Biopsy of the new heart and just everything. And angiogram and the whole bit, because they're very particular with a heart transplant patient. And when they came back, I got the result about a week later. And they said there is no sign of heart disease in you, and there's no sign of rejection. That's the first time since 1986 that any doctor has told me my heart is well. Now, my heart wasn't on my mind all the time because I've learned to live by faith. And Jesus Christ and his healing power was on my mind, but I had to learn to live like that. And God got me through, and God's made me whole. So he will with you. The problem can be so firmly embedded in our mind that we can't see God. We can't see a power greater than ourselves or greater than a doctor, and I appreciate doctors. Greater than a psychiatrist, and I appreciate psychiatrists. Greater than human help. We can't see a God who's willing and powerful enough to invade our life and our situation and set us free and break the shackles of darkness off us. We are too occupied with what we're going through. But if you can lift up your eyes of your spirit tonight and you can see that mighty cross which stands supreme in 2008, and it stands in this place tonight, it's over your life, and the rays of the power of God are coming down towards you. If you can open the eyes of your heart and look up and even for an instant see that mighty one who rose again from the dead. He is greater than your problem. He is greater than your economic situation. He is greater than your sickness. He is greater than your mental affliction, if you have one. He is greater than your broken heart. He is almighty. And if you open your spirit to him tonight, why, he'll come in. He's also greater than your lost state. If you were to die tonight, where would you go? To heaven or to hell? For both are real. God created both. He did not create hell for people. He created it as the eternal prison for Satan and his angels. If people go there, they go despite the cross of Calvary. They go despite God reaching out to them. He's reaching out to you tonight. And one day you'll stand before Jesus Christ, for he's risen from the dead. And you'll give answer, as I will. What did you do with Jesus? What did you do with him? Did you have him as your Savior? Have you made him Lord of your life? Is he supreme? When you face a problem, do you look for him? Do you see Jesus? Or do you see the ache, the nagging, part of the pain, the hurt, the difficulty? This father came to the conclusion that it was impossible. There's another picture that became enforced in this man's mind, in his spirit. It was impossible, but stories started to happen, or started to be told, about a person who was walking through Israel doing the most astounding things. It was like a seismic shock went through the nation. Stories, multitudes of them. And there were multitudes of reasons for the stories. Sick people getting healed, lame people running, blind people seeing, even dead people being raised from the dead. Lepers had their flesh came back on them again. Miracles everywhere. Stories went like wildfire. And the father of this boy heard them. The first time you hear of a miracle, you most likely, if you're like me, sort of dismiss it. For we Australians are rather a cynical bunch. And I thought, most likely, somebody made it up. But after you hear of them again and again, and if you're in the land and this man was there, he heard them so often. Perhaps he was there. Perhaps he was when these stories started to come. Why, if he was there, he may have even been there in this part of the story. You listen to these words in Mark chapter 1, verse 39 to 42. And he was preaching, that's Jesus, in the synagogues throughout all Galilee and casting out demons. Now a leper came to him, imploring him, kneeling down to him and saying to him, "If you're willing, you can make me clean." Because this leper, he had seen and heard too. He had met most likely other lepers that had been cleansed. And it created in him a hope, a desire to be made whole, to be normal, to be like other people, so that he was no longer an outcast of that society. The hope burned in him. It came his time where Jesus Christ was in his hometown. Then Jesus, moved with compassion, stretched out his hand and touched him and said to him, "I am willing, be cleansed." As soon as he had spoken, Immediately the leprosy left him, and he was cleansed.